How do you make the jump from Uncollected difficulty to doing Cavalier difficulty on a monthly basis? In this video I'm going to break down a few tips and tricks and also preparations and ideas that will hopefully allow you to understand the point in which you are ready to then take your roster to the next level and do Cavalier difficulty from the completion and exploration on a monthly basis. I've got a link in the description as well as a full write-up of this, but you know, whether or not you look at the video or whether or not you go to the Discord and check out the Word document, it's up to you how you consume this information. And to warn you, Kabam on a monthly basis may choose to change out certain nodes, so preparation, you have to adapt a lot to situations when you know, it's not the same nodes each month. Also for this video, I've broken it down to various sections, which will be time codes. So if you want to check them out, and as well how we're going to structure this is first of all, start off about the top champions to take on the game mode. For a lot of you that are familiar with this channel, as well as some of the stuff that I've produced, you'll know of the Cavalier cheat sheet. This is a monthly thing that I update with all the relevant information to the various nodes that Kabam change, and the champions respectively that can take on the content. Go and check it out, the link in the description. We'll send you two here, as well as the Google Drive link, or you can look at the Excel link, the proper XLS type format over on the Discord. But the following always crop up as very good path clearers. They are Black Widow Deadly Origin, Falcon, Nick Fury, Gwenpool, Moleman for those that are skill. For Mutant, it's Apocalypse, Archangel, Professor X, Magneto, Colossus, and Mega Red. For tech, it's Warlock, Hulkbuster, Civil Warrior, Howard the Duck. Science node is Quake if you know how to play her properly, but She-Hulk, Immortal Abomination, Human Torch, Captain America Infinity War with Cosmic skill and tech based on the leadership, so make sure you 200 signature that bad boy. Cosmic node sees Medusa, Hyperion, Angela, Cosmic Ghost Rider, Venom. And finally for the Mystic node, Doctor Doom, Black Widow Clairvoyant, Sorcerer Supreme, Symbiote Supreme, Dragon Man, Sasquatch, and many more. But hey look, there are many more. As I said, we have the Cavalier cheat sheet that's always updated with all the relevant champions that you can go and put into your team, because you may not have any of the ones I listed. They're just ones that you can look to acquire, which either have better rotations, quick to grab debuffs, easy to nullify, and so many other traits. Now, using some of those champions to take on the paths is going to be something of a learning curve and process, especially from the point of skill, which is a subject in this video we're going to talk about. But I think it's a point to mention is that as soon as you're familiar with the nodes, it's finding certain counters. Like having a skill champion that takes on Mixed Master from a very easy standpoint would be Falcon, because of the way that the champion's abilities, again, like suppress things that Mixed Master has. But there are things that would be beneficial to the node, like doing an Incinerate or a Shock debuff or Disorientate can help suppress the enemies doing Evade as a more current thing. And yes, there are other options, like you could have a champion that has True Strike to kind of like deal with the likes of Evade. Yes, that is an option. But if you're playing into the lines of the nodes, especially from the bonuses you get from things like Passive Fury, then you'll want to be able to take the class that it is giving the bonus to into this particular game mode. So it's all about having the right champions to take on this, reading nodes, but also having a look at the breadth of a roster to go, okay, well, I want to acquire more of one specific class on a monthly basis to help me take down this content. And the question may be, well, like, how do I prepare to take on bosses each month? Because that's going to be something of varying content as well as the extent of nodes a champion gets. So this month in particular, Hard Knock Life, a very annoying node, and especially if it's mixed with several others that are very painful, then it can be frustrating. I'm currently developing something of an interaction spreadsheet, which allows you to take one specific node to another and also a champion that then has like a counter to that. It's going to be something that's going to take a little while to develop, but I think it could be, you know, well placed. It's always best to come back to YouTube to see if there's any guides for any particular character, but a lot of time just keeping champions to SP1s is going to be enough. There's going to be little things like if the champion has Unstoppable or has Evade, bringing in a champion that will be able to deal with that can be helpful, like having the slow debuff or having a class advantage, suppressing down #metal or #robots and having interaction with that. Those are things to consider as well. But in any case, let's move on, because we need to talk about how we acquire the specific champions to take on the very specific type of content and the bosses. Champion acquisition as well as strengthening roster rank is something that is very important. You may be at a point in your MCOC career, if we can call that a real thing, but it's kind of a thing. Your MCOC career, you will either have a point where you're getting 6 stars more easily, or the people I think are representative of this video are people that have just trying to make that jump between 4 stars and 5 stars and kind of like trying to go like, right, well, I need to now create stuff past rank 3 5 stars to at least push into lots more 565s to have spread, or at least to try to get the rank up materials in order to do so. Dual class crystals are among some of the best types of crystals out there to acquire these champions that you require. 15,000 5-star shards could be better spent as getting 10,000 and be halfway to getting another dual class crystal. But the dual class crystal as well as the featured 5-star crystal do hold some better champions. If you're looking to target a little bit more, the 5-star featured may be a way to go. Some of the recently buffed champions are more, I'd say, enjoyable, and also they are more gratifying and more support to your roster from a point of having different types of abilities and as well things that will allow you to take on the content of Cavalier more fluidly. And going hand in hand with this, I would recommend going and doing incursions more regularly, especially because it does give you a more targeted 5-star crystal, especially with the pool being a lot lower than a lot of others that are out there at the moment. Side events as well are a little bit more fairer, and I would say if you are doing a 12-month cycle of side quests, you'll notice things like stores pop up, where you're able to use a certain amount of currency to buy yourself something within the store. And that can be very important to acquire things like rank up resources, maybe more shards, but more so if you're kind of trying to like stimulate a more well-rounded 565 roster, then it would be more applicable for you to get stuff like tier 5 basics and as well tier 2 alphas for rank ups, less to do with the shards, but more with the rank ups. And look out for any event that Kabam may be running. 5-star nexuses are really good opportunities to pick up something good, especially if you're looking at anything from a point of investment, going, hey, well, I kind of would be great to grab that champion, awaken it, and then decide to rank it up to 565, even rank 4 would be good to take on the content of Cavalier difficulty on a monthly basis, because you could say, I don't have an option for something, or, you know, following a process. Like something that I've always said is that I like to take into my questing 3 champions to take down a path and 2 champions to take on the boss. That is my well-rounded team. The final thing with roster acquisition is to look out for things like the Glory Store. You can really prioritize your spend in the Glory Store towards something that you indeed like, and as well can be beneficial to taking your roster up to the next level from a rank up perspective. Especially if you're looking to yourself going, right, well, unit investment, should I spend my units in things like Cyber Weekend deals? Should I be spending for the very first time? Those are key things as well as to where you look to prioritize your spend, whether you're free to play or you're paying. One of the key things is skill. A lot of the times you can say to yourself, like, do I want to be that person that always goes into the block, or do I want to be intercepting all the time? You know, whatever's kind of comfortable for you, because that's the other thing as well. We're doing Cavalier difficulty. You're going to be doing that. You're going to be doing parries and blocks, or you're going to be intercepting all the time. That is going to be the key thing. Am I going to be pushing champions to SP1s and watching the nodes? Because the nodes are weird, like there. That node then just shifted, and then everything was power-wise was given over to that champion. So that's the other thing as well. Reading nodes applicably and then going, right, my rotation has to be, I've got to get in my special attack or get rid of my power before this cycle ends. But the main thing and main point is being like, do you want to take things into your block? Do you want to be doing stuff like this and trying to kind of like just take things into the block, which isn't going to work? That chunk of damage, look at that. So it's going to be well-timed blocks, or it's going to be parries, or it's going to be intercepts. Those are going to be the key things on rotation for you to do. Because otherwise you are going to find that you'll be reviving and healing up way too much than you'd like to. Now, there aren't a huge amount of champions out there with a large amount of block proficiency, except for Cap Infinity War that I know of. I think Guillotine 2099 has a good chunk as well, and as well Doctor Doom. There are a lot more out there that have that, but again, this is the thing about saying, are you going to be taking 4 stars into this this Cavalier difficulty? Are you going to be trying to stimulate your 565s? Is it going to be specific champions that you're fine with intercepting with? or you're going to be trying to eat it all into the block. Those are key things as well. Devices do play a part. I was using the iPhone 7 Plus there, but I normally use an iPhone 11 Pro, which I still don't find works overly great. So devices are important. Make sure as well, before you start doing an intense grind, reboot your phone and only play for about 45 minutes at most before then kind of turning your phone off for a little while, having a break, and then coming back to it. It's just so the device is kind of like working correctly, because a lot of times long fights like over an hour does mean that the device kind of just blows out and becomes just trash. So make sure to kind of do that. Now let's talk about items, because items do play a part. For a lot of players that will struggle to get this content done, maybe it's because, again, some of the things that we've mentioned, but items do play a part to help out players. Whether or not you're getting like attack boosts and as well health boosts, you can get a lot of boosts from opening up the solo crystals. So those solo crystal shards, if you pick up the greater ones, or open your greater crystals, you're able to get some really nice stuff from them. So do look out for that, because you can get some boosts, especially if you're looking to be like pushing for Cavalier, Throne Break and stuff like that. You can get from the loyalty store some boosts, but do bear in mind, if you are using your loyalty for things like Alliance Wars and Alliance Questing, then you may choose to kind of like hold the brakes on that one. But funnily enough, there are other ways of picking up boosts. When it comes to the combats, so skill combat or whatever combat's on at this given time, and the same thing with advancements. If you are able to save up things like crystals, and when you open them, so when you open your crystals, you actually trigger off this particular one here. There is a 10% that you can get from the furthest milestone. And also when it comes to the advancements of different types of classes, if you're choosing to rank up a champion, then at least you've got that opportunity to pick up some good stuff from doing that. But also solo events play a massive part in you acquiring things, like event quest completion. At the point of recording this video, I'm about to go into a grind in Cavalier difficulty and choose to hopefully grab at least 4 milestones, which will see me bagged the revive, the health potion, and as well the units. 3 key things. If I'm acquiring that on a daily basis, that's helping me getting through some of the content if I was to make mistakes. So yeah, that's another thing as well. Items play a part with you being able to get through this. It's part of a process. If you can create a grind schedule, then it can be helpful to kind of get that stuff and help you make that that leap up to from Uncollected to Cavalier. Now the final thing I want to talk about is Masteries. Masteries do hold a massive point to your grind. And I would say that if you want to get a good mastery set together that maximizes certain champions' damage, it may be a case on a monthly basis you might want to go down the route of Suicide Masteries, especially from the extent of damage output that they do in any given scenario. They're not going to be 100% good for every type of Cavalier difficulty each month, but at least to say that they will hold some bearing to help you out. Liquid Courage and Double Edge are run at the same time a lot of the time, so having any bleed debuff and poison immune champion can work well. Recoil does a lot of damage on special attack triggering, but also kind of you take some damage as a result, so throwing SP3s on a rotation may be advisable. But you can minimize your bleed damage in any case with Coagulate. However, though, I would say that Willpower is a go-to mastery to pick up. Why have you not got it, Rich? Well, because I'm about to change my mastery setup. So that's what that is. You can look to have like proficiencies in and kind of like stimulate those that build power through mystic means with mystic dispersion. But I would say having Liquid Courage and having Double Edge, so that kind of suicide mastery element is good if you have the champions for it. If you have a lot of bleed immune, or more so with poison immune champions, then they are more effective for the scenario. So yeah, that's really kind of like my thoughts there on that. And you can build it. It's very expensive if you haven't invested them in the first degree. And there we go. That concludes the how to make the jump up from Uncollected to Cavalier. It's really down to you, your roster, your acquisition, and a little bit of the skill elements. The nodes that have been added in are very helpful to players, but it's important to then acquire said champions at 565 to be better. So follow the processes that I've put in this video. I hope this helped out those that kind of like want to understand how to make that jump, what things to consider, and all that lovely stuff as well. Make sure to support the channel by checking out some of the other content on screen now, and every month I update the Cavalier cheat sheet, which is a fun thing that people like. Thank you so much for watching this video. See you soon. Bye bye.